out on the computer. That's where he is all the time, in front of the computer. And
Well, I'd just like to clarify that, basically the whole book was written by our older member Doe, and I did some work on the computer to put it together, but it's mostly T and Doe, not me. And I was just very glad to have an opportunity to work on it.
both of us were very lucky and fortunate to be able to be with T and Doe when T was in body here on this earth. Is that correct?
That's very correct. And there's just no way of describing how great it's been, and how much we're looking forward to what's ahead for us now, because it's just what we've been working for all these years. It's just the answer to all of our prayers. And
I couldn't have had a better life than I've had these 21 years. And if it was good here, I know it's going to be twice as good when I get up there. And we're looking forward to it. And it's been fun all the way. It'll be more fun going.
I did want to recommend on our website, we have a picture of what we feel like a member of the next level might look like. Because the next level isn't just non-physical. They do have bodies, even though their physical characteristics are different than what are here. But we don't know if it's entirely accurate, but we feel like because of the way Doe helped bring that picture about, and that he feels so good about it, that it must be very close to what we're looking forward to being in our next level bodies.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we have Aniloti and Daimoti with us now, and if I remember correctly, you both came in May of 1976 after you knew that T had announced the harvest was closed. Is that true?
That was true in my case. I remember when I came in, the group that gave the meeting that I attended kept trying to tell me to go away. and I wouldn't get out of their Chrysler, so I kind of stayed in. I kind of got in here by default. I didn't really meet T and Doe until almost 2 months after I came in.
In this vehicle?
In this vehicle.
That's about the same thing that happened here. In fact, Lodi, you were one of the ones that were in Portland, Maine, where I met you all. I never even attended a meeting. I saw a poster at the Plymouth State College when I was leaving the dark room one day, and said, this is something I got to do, and just all of a sudden a light went off in my body. And I searched for 3 days. I went to the University of New Hampshire looking for you all, and then I went to Portland, Maine, and that's when I found everybody, and I never attended a meeting, and the meetings closed out, and from there we went to Wyoming, and I saw T and Doe, and all of a sudden I just said, wow, there they are, and I hadn't seen so long.
I didn't know if it would be appropriate if I did a little explaining of my name, since part of, because my name I got from my older member. I originally had the name of Omega, and because when we first joined the class, from the very beginning, you try to separate yourself from the vehicle, and so you take another name so you're not being called by what the vehicle was called. My first name was Omega, and then I switched it to Ann because Omega seemed a little too highfalutin. But when we got the Odie names, then I became Annie Odie. But I spent a few years from like 1988 to 1994 away from the class. I spent it because I felt that I'd been taking the class for granted, and if I was put out in a world circumstance, then I would grow to appreciate what I had more. It was kind of a silly gamble because the class could have left, but they did it, and I was able to come back in. And at that time, my older member changed my name from Annie Oldie to anneal Odie, because anneal is a word for a process used to strengthen steel. And so I was really glad that they hadn't left before I came back.
Daimori, did you
And
want to say anything about your
I
return
had
to the
the
class?
same kind of process happen to me. I left in approximately latter part of 1981 after being in the class about 6 years approximately. And I was overcome thinking, wanting to see the vehicle's family and things like that, and didn't leave a note or anything because I knew who my real family was, but I just had a feeling I needed to go back out into the world per se to see what it was like and to see what might be there. But I knew in my heart I'd always reconnect and always be back. And I didn't know how it was going to transpire, but it just seems like I had instructions to leave at the time. I didn't understand at the time, and I'm just so happy to be back. I was rescued not long ago.
Well, we were all happy to see you come back now. We know what a struggle it was being out there. But I think I can speak for everyone else in the class that we've been especially impressed with Daimori's positive attitude and willingness to help with everything that needed to happen. And Ann Lodi, too.
Well, I, for one, am very much aware of the limitations now of this human vehicle that I have, and I'm anxious to be of more service to the next level without it. And so,
He'll be happy just to get the suit of clothes off and put on a brand new fresh set with, new vibrations and be in a new atmosphere and just so nice and clean. This place has just become so corrupt, ungodly, polluted, and just totally something that is so far beneath the next level that it's for T&O to endure what they've endured for 22 years. It's just unimaginable they'd go through that for us.
Okay. Well, we appreciate your time, both of you, unless there's something more you wanted to say.
Probably could write a few books, but don't have time for that. We'll leave in the next couple days.
just thank you, T&O.
Yeah, just thank you,
letting us be
T&O,
here.
and for everything you've done.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we have Bran Odie and Sam Odie with us now. And how long have the two of you been in this classroom? I guess we can take Bran Odie first.
Okay, I've been in the classroom since January of '76. I was very fortunate to be able to spend some time with T&O before I came into the class. And I had a brief period of about 6 years that I was on a special task outside of the class because of having the vehicle that I am wearing and learning how to be completely independent with this vehicle and in a circumstance outside the class. And I think the thing that I would like to say about that is that I learned the value so much of what this class teaches and who I was and who my teachers are, that during that 6 years while I was outside of the class, I followed every procedure and instruction in the little apartment circumstance that I had, and every one of them proved more valuable to me than you can imagine. And that's what I'd really like to say. And then when I was able to rejoin the class, of course, that was a great, joyous day for me.
Okay. Sam Odie?
Well, I'd like to let people know that out there that this is the only thing that I can do. And when I came in '76 January, I hadn't met T&O before then, but I heard about them. And when I heard about them, I knew that they were what I was looking for, and I had been searching for years and years for. Why was I even here? What was I doing here? And then I met Tiendo, and I knew that they were my older members. And I had to come with them because I knew that this is what I had to do. And they're all there is, and this place is just like a hologram. It's a training ground for individuals that come from the next level to inherit another vehicle, a more refined vehicle, and that's what my task is, to work on my control and my restraint and learn the ways of the next level. And my teachers are here to teach me that, and I'm thankful that they came here to this hideous place to do that.
So you feel like your mind knew them before you took this vehicle, is that right?
Well, I knew Tiendo right away when I saw them.
You
And
recognized
I knew when I heard their words, when I heard what they had to say, it was there. And they were the answer. And there's no other answers here. There's no human here that can give you anything that Tiendo, they cannot give you anything. These humans here do not know how to get to the next level. They need a representative. They need someone to lead them out of here.
Is there anything more you'd like to say, Brandon?
Well, yes, I'd like to say, when you ask about knowing Tiendo, when I met Tiendo, I knew who Tiendo were. I had no doubt. I didn't believe who they were. I didn't believe they might be. I knew. And I knew that I had had a past association with them, and I knew that I had a task to do to take over the vehicle and gain control of it and learn next level ways, and the whole thing is about service to the next level. And I had no doubt, and I'm very happy, and this is a very joyous time for the class to be able to be returning home.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we have Presodi with us now, and we understand that you have something you'd like to say.
Yes, I do. I prepared a little statement for any in the world who might be interested in why I'm ready to go to the next level. And I hope that this will explain what it means to me. First of all, I consider myself extremely fortunate to have been chosen for this class and to have been in the keeping and care of two older members from the next level for the past 22 years. In 1975, I received a statement entitled Human Individual Metamorphosis, and even before I finished reading the message, I knew I was hearing my Lord, my shepherd's voice. After meeting Tiendo the first time, I instinctively knew who they were and where they came from. There was no doubt. It's like a knowing inside that you can't deny. The information that they brought us about the next level and their ways and conduct were not human ways, and it became more clearly evident the more I was with them that I wanted to become like them. Their consistent caring and conduct was evidence to me that they were from a world I wanted to be a part of. Over the years, that desire has never changed. Now the time has come for us to leave this world and to return to the level above human as new beginners. As new beginners in the next level. By dropping these bodies, we will receive the inheritance we have been promised of eternal life in a physical next level body to be in service to the Chief of Chiefs. It is my choice to lay down my borrowed physical body to prove to the next level my love and the trust I have in my older members, for what they have shown me as their example of what I can become. My thoughts in these last hours are only of joy and wonder at the thought of going home to my older members and being in T's house at last.
Thank you. Okay, we have Melody with us now, and Melody, would you like to tell us how long you've been in the classroom and something about that experience?
Oh, well, sure. I've been in the classroom since April or May of 1975. I guess it's almost 22 years. And it's been the best 22 years I could have ever experienced. There were a couple questions that I wanted to address specifically, or try to. I hope that I can pull enough from my older members' mind that my answers to those questions would be appropriate. There were a couple things that I suspected there might be individuals out there who would like to ask us if they had the chance. And one of those questions I thought people might want to ask is, how can you, when you, so many of you have so many capabilities and talents, when you could have done so much in the world, choose to throw all that away and go off with some cult and just lose your life? Okay, so in response to that, for one thing, you have to consider what we as individuals wanted to become. I think everyone in this class wanted something more than the human world had to offer. They were seeking some type of goodness, some type of rightness that they did not feel in this world. So that's one thing. You have to consider what we wanted. To us, we weren't throwing away anything that was of any value to us. The other thing that you may not realize, that if you truly have some goodness in you, I think you will come to realize, and that is that the idea that you can become something in this world and really make a difference is an illusion. Anyone who seeks to make a real change in this world, to go out and do something, is going to eventually come up to the realization that the underpinnings of this world are so corrupt that you really cannot succeed unless you're willing to compromise what you know in your heart isn't really right. You're going to be faced with that inside you, you're going to have to give up something that was of value in order to make a difference in the world. So you really can't accomplish that. And hopefully, if that is the path you've taken, where you're trying to make a difference, that when you come up to that point where you have to make a lesser decision, that you'll realize that you'll take the option of failure and go do some soul seeking and ask, why is this happening? Is there really a God? What did he have in mind for me? Is there something more? And as a result of asking those questions, you'll come to the realization that there is a higher evolutionary level above human that you can attain to and go after, and that you do not have to be satisfied with what's in this world. Now, the second question that I thought people might want to ask, and that is, do we really hate our mothers, fathers, sisters, and brothers? Do we really feel that way? And I think one thing you have to realize, that each of us, in order to succeed at this task, has to know that we are the next level mind inside this vehicle. We have to totally identify as a child of the next level, see ourselves as part of that family, and know that that's who we are, that everything that was the vehicle is behind us and it isn't us. The attachments that each of these vehicles had were very real. For each of us, there were things that we cared about, there were individuals that the vehicle respected and loved and cared for very much. And in making the decision that we made to do this, we know that we broke hearts, we know that we hurt people, and we don't take that lightly. We didn't want to hurt anyone. Unfortunately, it's the individuals that these vehicles cared for the most that are actually the greatest threat to us. And as a next level mind with an allegiance to an older member and wanting to succeed at this task, we had to be very aware that influences would take our vulnerabilities, those things that we cared about, and use them against us. They would take the programming in the vehicle, and if they could, they would make us look backwards and forget where we were going. And that happened to a lot of our classmates. I mean, we're sorry to say that there are many that were with us that chose to give up an eternity of service with their Creator, closeness, and an opportunity to be the fullest, to reach the fullest potential that their Creator imagined for them, and they gave it up for a few months or years of closeness to another human. And we've prayed for the strength that we not do the same thing. We wanted to reach that potential. We wanted to know what our Creator had hoped that we might be, and through our older members, we've gained strength and discipline, and we've learned a lot. And in doing that, we had to recognize that programming, those attachments, we had to hate the things that would pull us back and be our enemies. And so we do hate the things that would pull us backwards because we don't want to fail. We wanted to succeed. We wanted to be close to our Creator. We wanted to become what we could become. And this may not be something that any of you can recognize at this point, but the love that an older member has for a younger member is a type of love that a human cannot experience. There's a selflessness, and a purity that goes beyond anything humans feel for each other. It's not a love that's based on satisfying mutual needs, which is really what almost all human relationships are. They're satisfying some mutual addiction. And a relationship with an older member, it's based on a shared desire to grow and serve the older members that created them and to please them. And I could wish for nothing more than that you may someday experience that as well. That's what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, we have Junodi with us, and we understand that you have something you'd like to share.
Well, yes, kind of. Well, it's going to be a bit extemporaneous because I've been working on a lot of things the last few days. And I've only had about 22 years to figure out what I was going to say here. But I'm going to make this a little less serious than some because I have written several papers that are in the Heaven's Gate book that express a little bit more what's close to my heart. But this is for our clients. And you may ask, well, who are our clients? Well, as a, quote, monastery, we've had a little business that we called Higher Source, from which we earned our income so we could consume while we were on this planet. And we always were self-supporting, which a lot of entities that were in our position might not be. But we would like those individuals that we work with to remember how they felt about us, what kind of work we did for them, and to try not to be influenced by what the media might say, because we suspect, knowing the track record of the media, that it might not be all too favorable or objective. So you've had a unique opportunity to work with us directly, and there have been more than one client who has suspected that there was a little something unusual about us. And one particular individual came up to us one day and said something like, I'm halfway expecting one of these days that you're going to come through the door and say something like, the big guy upstairs sent us, to work with you. And we kind of sat on our hands and held our tongue at the time because we were trying to be a little bit restrained in our identity so that we could earn some sticks, as we call them. But to that individual, I'd like to say at this time that God did have a message for you, but it was a bit premature when you asked. And we'd like to let you know that He's had an eye on you. And we want to let you know that you might need to get someone else to finish up your website right now. And that we might see you all again, and then we might not. But we hope that you remember us as we were, and not how other people are going to try and tell you that we are. And one last thing we'd like to say is 39 to beam up. Thank you.
Okay, we have Norodi and Chakoti with us now. Norodi on the left, Chakoti on the right.
No, that's Narodi, and I'm Chakoti.
And That's Norodi on the left and Chakoti on the right, in case you're confused by the humor.
Depends which
We're
side you're
trying to
sitting on,
be,
right?
trying to be light.
Yes.
Yes. We know that both of you have a lot to say about your experiences with T&O since you took these vehicles, and we're just going to kind of let it go as whatever direction you decide to take it. So, Norodi, would you like to go first?
Chakoti asked me to go first because she was nervous, and I'm really nervous. But I want to say that Norodi is of sound mind, and although what's inhabiting this vehicle is not, I am inhabiting the vehicle. And I'm really glad that I'm going to be losing this vehicle, shedding it of my own volition, because I'm really tired of this world and what it has become. I feel no bitterness. I feel extreme gratitude and thankfulness to my older members, T and Do, who in, can you talk for a second?
Well, for me, I just wish people could understand how it was instant recognition for me when I met T&O in Walport over 21 years ago, and there was never a doubt in my mind. And I know that for some, I may have caused some suffering, or this choice that I made may have caused some suffering, because the only suffering really is caused by individuals accepting the misunderstanding and the misinformation that's out there about an individual choosing to become a member of the Kingdom of Heaven. And T&O are definitely members of the Kingdom of Heaven. They have shown through their example and everything that they've done that they are not of this world. They do not have mammalian behavior. They do not react the same way we do to things. They have a higher standard, and it's been a joyful experience to me to be here and to have been with them. And I wish I could express the gratitude I have towards all the effort and the patience that they've given me and my classmates. And I know that's where Norodi gets choked up too, and I could get choked up, but I just wish that people out there could understand how much we feel and know this is real. This is not a fantasy. We may be giving up these vehicles, but we knew we were going to give up these vehicles anyway because we didn't really want them. We know what the vehicles are in the next level are not like these. They're not reproducing. They're not mammalian. However, your brain can understand that. And we're going to a world that does not live the same way they do in the human kingdom. But of course, Heaven's Gate and the website and the book can explain that a lot better than I can. But that was the main thing I wanted people to know, how much joy I have felt, and the only separation that ever has been between me or anyone else has been their disbelief. And if only you could have believed even that far. I know I didn't have to believe. I knew when I saw T&O.
Me too. The moment I saw them, I just, at first I think the vehicle was frightened, but the mind that was coming into this vehicle recognized them, and beyond a shadow of a doubt, I knew what I had to do. And I know that to the ones in the world who might recognize this vehicle, they may think they know me, but I am not this vehicle, and I know that that could be very confusing. But even this vehicle that has learned from the mind that has occupied it for the last 21 and plus years doesn't like it here anymore. And I know that because there isn't the conflict that used to be there, where the vehicle wanted to do one thing or feel one thing and the mind wanted to do something opposite. The vehicle itself has learned how corrupt and polluted. I know that all these words have been said before, but it's true. It's just a painful experience to recognize that hideousness has become the norm.
and that people accept it out of ignorance because they've been programmed, and a lot of it is not their fault, but it is their choice. Each person has a choice to make, and I've made mine, and I'm very happy and that I was given the opportunity to have this choice. And I feel very, very excited about this time, and that we'll finally be able to leave as a class together. We've all worked very hard, and we've all tried to prove to our older members that we're worthy of the effort and sacrifice they've made.
Thank you, and that's all we really have to say.